The National Assembly is expected to consider the nomination of Reverend Frank Chikane as the next Inspector General of Intelligence Services. This follows interviews held earlier this year by the Standing Committee on Intelligence amongst shortlisted candidates. Let's take it there live.
The branches of the ANC indicating a serious crippling of their psychology, because this recycling is a demonstration of the greatest cognitive dissonance there ever was. A 71-year-old in a pool of talent across the country that must be reinserted at the highest levels of constitutional structures is a statement of no confidence on the youth, is a statement of no confidence generally in the country, but it's a reflection that the ANC has run out of talent. Chikane was the worst performing candidate in the interviews. But let us go to the basic issue which is being forwarded in relation to his candidature, that is his integrity. We are of the opinion that he's got an inconsistent morality and ethical practice, demonstrated, number one, by his utter silence in 2001 when President Mbeki abused the intelligence services to try and investigate 3 of the veterans of the ANC, supposedly plotting to harm him and oust him. This was on the eve of the 2002 conference of the ANC. It was obvious that President Mbeki was in abuse of these structures. Chikane was silent and did nothing. He admitted to being asked to run for this position by ANC leaders. But when we are asked to declare who these leaders are, he was not ethical enough to declare that I was asked by so-and-so to stand for this position. He knows little, if not nothing, about the current environment of the intelligence services, indicated by his proposals in relation to the amendment of laws, into the fixing of structures that have nothing to do with the constitutional and legislative mandate of the IGI. Chikane is also steeped in NGOs that are compromised, that are infiltrated by international intelligence structures, but above all, to show this ethical inconsistency, he works with people in these NGOs who want to fix South Africa's democracy, but ironically are in support of apartheid Israel. When he was teased on these questions, Chikane was obvious, came out to be inconsistent, contradictory in relation to the consistency in relation to ethics. So he does not have the ethical command and the integrity that the ANC supposes that he does. But on the eve of June 16, to recommend a 71-year-old that has had his time, it's a greater statement of no confidence in the youth and the talent of this country. I think if Ntate Chikane still has any ounce of ethical and integrity left within him, he should literally just resign. He should be unavailable. Take a seat, take a back seat, mentor, advise, but not want to be part of an active government that he has helped, that he has been part of, that he has been at its highest positions to help go down. He's part of the old guard. He's part of the people that we should not be hearing their names to take important roles anymore. The EFF rejects his candidature and we're not going to support it. In fact, as you would have realized, we opposed him in and outside the committee deliberations. So this candidate is not going to make it even in today. He's not going to get a 2/3 majority because he can't be supported. He has no ethical consistency. He has no technical knowledge of the intelligence services, and he's the old guard. He's infiltrated. He works in NGOs that are infiltrated by international intelligence agencies, and is oblivious to that. We reject his candidature. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The IFP.
Honourable Chairperson, given the extremely sensitive nature of the mandate and information dealt with by the SSA, it is almost impossible for absolute oversight of the intelligence services. This is precisely why it is necessary to have an Inspector General of Intelligence who reports to the JSCI and President as is required in the Constitution and in terms of the Intelligence Services Oversight Act. Chairperson, it is fact that the JSCI will only be as strong as the Inspector General who reports to it. The position requires an individual whose conduct and political bipartisanship are beyond reproach. The fact that it has taken this long to fill the position is worrisome. However, now that it is filled, the incumbent can take control of the monitoring of intelligence and counterintelligence activities of the State Security Agency and the intelligence divisions of South African Police Services and National Defence Force. The independence of the office of the IGI is paramount, and its human and capital resources should have no link to the SSA. For example, all IT hardware for the office is currently sourced and provided by the SSA chairperson. The incumbent, Reverend Chikane, is a fit and proper person with an appropriate level of knowledge of the intelligence services, which will enable him to perform his oversight role with all due diligence. His past roles as an activist and veteran struggle leader against the abolition of apartheid, as well as being a committed member of the ANC, stand him in good stead. But, and here is the caveat, the only partisanship he can now hold will be to the people of South Africa, the rule of law, and our constitutional democracy. Chairperson, there is no doubt that Reverend Chikane has a challenging road ahead of him. The intelligence services are operating at their lowest ebb. There is clear lack of leadership, and this will require competent oversight by an individual with a prior knowledge of the intelligence services, realm to repair. And this is exactly what Reverend Chikane brings to the table. The IFP supports the nomination of Reverend Chikane to the position of Inspector General of the Intelligence. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. The AFF Plus.
Thank you, House Chairperson. House Chair, Voltaire said, history never repeats itself, but man always does. The intelligence structure was abused prior to 1994, terribly. And then during the Mbeki era, it was also abused. During the 9 lost years, it was also abused. It is each of our responsibility to prevent the mistakes from reoccurring. The member from the ANC is correct that the IGI should be impartial, and thus the FF Plus cannot support this appointment. I thank you.
The ACDP, no declaration. Order, honourable members. The UDM.
House Chair, the Office of the Inspector General of Intelligence is very important as it monitors and reviews the operations of the intelligence services of South Africa, which include state security agencies and so on. Its function is primarily important as it seeks to look at complaints from the public as well as to the abuses of the constitutions and intelligence laws by intelligence services. For a long time, for the longest period, especially in the past 20 years, the intelligence services of South Africa have been abused and used to advance the factional causes and battles of the ANC or the African National Congress. We want to state that it is our view that the state security services is not there in order for it to be used by the dominant faction of the ruling party, but rather to save the state and the people of South Africa. Yes, we have reservations and concerns about the fact that a younger, perhaps more energetic person could have been chosen, but we're of the view that Reverend Frank Chikane is a man of integrity who will be able to actually discharge his responsibilities in this new assignment with distinction. We support the report and the nomination. Thank you, Chair.
Well, that's it from us today. Up next is On Point from myself and the team. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.